You want to travel the world like a boss.
Well, really, you're broke AF and you don't know where to start. Well, that's been me pretty much my entire life, so I feel you. But I've still managed to travel the world, so I think we should chat about that in this video. I don't want to get my hair wet!
I really have been broke for the majority of my life, but I've still been able to travel the world. If you've been following my journey, you know that I currently am traveling around, living life as a digital nomad. And if you've had this urge to go travel, and you right now just don't see how that would be possible, in this video, I want to show you different ways on how you actually can do this, starting from $0. You may be thinking, how are we gonna do that? Well, let me show you, my friend. Now, before we get started, I do want to let you know that traveling Prunella style on a budget is not gonna be fancy. But it may just change your life. I just got shivers saying that. It's because it does. It changes your life. Step number 1 is sell or rent out your home because you want to make sure that you got 0 expenses while you're gone.
We want to make our way to an exotic location. Step number 1 is finding a plane ticket. Now, how do we afford that plane ticket if we got $0? I'll tell you in just a sec, but first,
let's figure out how to get some cheap flight deals.
Momondo and these other traveling sites have this feature where you can put in your current location and then it'll help you explore where the cheapest flights will take you. I was recently in New York and from there I found a very cheap flight back to Mexico.
And I got my flight to go here for under $200. And regardless of whether you're in Asia or Europe or North America like I was, you'll be able to find cheap flights. So you should do that.
If we got $0, we gotta first figure out how are we gonna actually afford that flight.
Something that I've done in the past to be able to afford my flight is sell my bike. Something else I've done is sell some old clothes.
Furniture, old games and movies, and so on. Isn't a little decluttering always just good for the soul? If you actually use these money-making methods, you're probably gonna make more than what your flight's gonna cost, which is nice. It's just a good little, like, money in the pocket. We all know that traveling can be quite expensive, but I've come up with a few money-saving methods over the years. And before we get to how we're actually gonna eat and be able to get a roof over our head in a foreign country while also being broke, because even though in the past I secretly have slept in the airport a few times to save money, I'll go over some things in this video to show you how you'll be able to not do that. But first, let's just go over a few travel tips in action when on a budget.
Travel tips in action with Prunella. First off, you're gonna want to take public transportation to the airport, and yes, that may mean that you gotta leave a little bit earlier. But hey, you're in a good mood because you are traveling today.
We're saving so much money buying this train ticket rather than taking a taxi. Ooh. Ooh. Of course, I got my journal and a little book with me.
And would you have seen the sunrise if you'd not taken the train? I don't think so.
Hey, maybe you would, but not in the same way. Some airlines charge for a checked-in bag, so if you want to save money, just bring a hand luggage. You never need as much as you think when you're traveling. Another great thing with just flying with a little suitcase is that you don't have to stand in this long line. More time for airport fun. The hand luggage is way less to carry when you gotta go up the stairs, which... Oh my gosh, this guy's brutal. Also, if you just wear your makeup from yesterday, you're gonna save so much time. I would have had plenty of time to do it this morning, but I'm just lazy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's good.
I just had the most fun conversation with that security guy. He was asking about the protein powder, and then we had a chat about how protein is so important for muscle growth. And he's gonna use my code Prunella to get 20% off one of nutrition, but they will take your toothpaste if it's a too big of a toothpaste thing. But the good side is we're on our way, guys. We are on our way. The airport is such a good place to get in your steps of thoughts today. And also listen to audiobooks or podcasts. I think that developing skills and learning new knowledge is the best way for us to be able to live a nomad life where we work from anywhere, because if we have skills and we're able to provide value to people, then we'll be able to do that through the internet, which will give us freedom to travel.
Now, do not go into shops and buy food at the airport. Instead, bring your snacks with you.
For years, I've been doing this thing where I ask for hot water and then I make myself some protein oatmeal. It's yummy.
Also for coffee, why don't you drink your coffee from home and then wait till you get on the plane and it's gonna be free. Now, I like to sit in the aisle seat because then you have free access to go to the restroom and you can get up and ask for more snacks and drinks at any time.
This is how it looked when I was recording that, but behind me, window.
Oh my gosh, I was just one bump away from damaging my computer right there. Next time I fly, I'm gonna be more careful. But hey, I'm editing my new podcast episode, Challenge Your Norm, with Pernilla. It's really crazy how fast your flight goes by when you're being productive on a plane.
We made it. Ooh, yeah. And with just this luggage, you don't even gotta wait for your other luggage. That's a privilege. All right, now that we've made it to our dream destination, we gotta find a way to survive and hopefully have a little bit of fun while we do so.
Now, how are you gonna afford this, you may be thinking? You're gonna use your skills. Your skills is what I was trying to say. When I was 20, my skill was that I was a dancer. I'd been dancing my entire life. And so what I did is I asked everyone I knew if they knew of any place in the world I could go and get some sort of dance contract. And after a few months, I got connected with an agency in China that helped dancers book these jobs for different Chinese artists. We would go on TV shows and music videos and like stage concerts.
Oh yeah, and here I messed up on Chinese national TV.
So I got to travel to China and live there for 4 months while I was a dancer. I made a little bit of money, not a ton.
And now this all sounds really fancy, and it was at times. But the apartment that I lived in with 3 other girls was tiny. This was my twin bed, and this was my friend's twin bed right next to me.
Yes, sometimes when we were traveling, we would stay at fancy hotels, but for the majority of the time, this was our spot.
The reality of it was that in China, you work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And yes, sometimes our costumes were cute and sometimes they were not so cute. But I feel like for me, the less fancy my traveling is, the more I grow and develop as a human. And that's really what I care about.
My brother did this with his job. He's like a shipping man, and my dad has done this with his job. He's an engineer. So I feel like with whatever field you're in, you can do this.
If you want to work abroad, brainstorm on the idea. Ask anyone and everyone you know, send applications, and the universe may just mix up some miracles for you.
But that's not the only way that you can make money. Regardless of what skills you have, I promise you, there's a way that you can make money doing that online. I've hired so many freelancers. Oh my God, there's a spider on my computer.
There's so many awesome websites like Fiverr and Upwork where people are looking to hire someone like you with your skills. Whether it's within social media, or websites, or writing, or designing clothes, or digital marketing, or video editing, or translating, or recipes, or songwriting, or really anything that you're skilled at. Or you can also use your skill to create an online course or an ebook and sell that.
Some people do online coaching, whether it's fitness, business, psychology. Opportunities are endless.
When I was in school, I wanted to save up for all these like crazy dreams and adventures that I wanted to go on, and so I would always have 1 or 2 jobs. And in the last year of high school, I moved away from home, so I would work 5 days a week to save up and also just spend minimal on rent and food and things like that. I was just so focused on the things that I wanted to do. So maybe if you can lower your expenses for a little while, that will help you save up as well. The way that I today am able to live this digital nomad life is because I spent some years building up my social media platforms that today allow me to create content like this that hopefully is helpful to my community and work with brands that I love. And since we're on that subject, a quick word from today's sponsors.
If you are a fitness freak like me and you want to make sure you get your protein when you're on the road, then maybe you're going to want to prep some snacks for your trip, which is what I've done with Built Bar. They have different kind of Built Bars. This is like a Built Bar Puff, which really tastes like a marshmallow. It has 140 calories, which is insane for a protein bar, very low. It has 17 grams of protein and only 6 grams of sugar. Literally looks and tastes like a chocolate bar. Oh, look at this. And I feel like you can tell from my teeth that that chocolate is gooey and delicious and melted in your mouth. You want to try it? So we can enjoy our Built Bars together. Do you like it? If you want Maybe you want to try it out for yourself, you can use the code PERNELLA10 to get 10% off. Bring a package with you under the arm, and then you go travel. It's gonna be a great time.
When I traveled to LA as a 20-year-old, I booked a bed at a hostel where I slept in a bunk bed in a house with 20 other dancers. And this definitely is a cheap way to travel, but for me it was also just the most incredible experience, meeting so many people from all over the world that were in the same situation as me.
We had so much fun. So much fun.
We really
did.
But hostels definitely isn't the only cheap way, and today I'm doing something different.
So if you've seen this video, you already know that Alessandra and I booked a 2-bedroom apartment when we were here together. And after New York, I decided to do the same. The exact same apartment actually is the one I'm staying in. I highly recommend that if you go somewhere that you book an apartment, because that allows you to kind of live your life as you would if you were at home and cook food in the kitchen. The crazy thing is, when you go to an exotic location like this one, you can get really cheap Airbnbs, or this I got on booking.com. None of this is sponsored. That's just where I found a lot of my stuff, and I paid a third of the price for this apartment than what I do in my LA apartment. I'm kind of saving money by traveling right now.
In the past, I would have never gotten my own apartment. I would just get the absolute cheapest version, which would usually be a room inside a house or an apartment.
Even though this apartment may look pretty clean, I don't know, maybe I should give you a little sneak peek, because that's where I sleep. And then maybe here. Oh, I'm glad the light isn't on, because it's a mess.
My suitcase is a mess and we're gonna clean it up.
Okay, so one thing that we gotta make clear is that just because we travel, that doesn't mean that we're gonna change all the things about ourselves that we dislike. If we tend to be messy, then we still gotta make that shift within if that's something that we wanna change.
Mom, I'm sorry. I know it's not perfect, but we're not going for perfection. We're going for progress here. I think a lot of us tend to think that, okay, when I do this, then I'll be happy. When I do this, then I'll change this habit. I don't think that if we have an inner critic that is going on right now when you're at home, it's not like that inner critic is just gonna go away because you travel. Or if you've been wanting to get in shape, it's not like you're just like suddenly gonna get in shape because you travel. It's just a little reminder for us all that we shouldn't wait to start that morning routine. We shouldn't wait to clean up our mess. We shouldn't wait to feel the feelings that we want to feel till that day when we travel, till that day when we, whatever it is that we're coming up with these excuses for. And for some reason, when I made these traveling plans, I was like, then I'm not gonna be sitting and working all day. But if you watch my last video, you know that I spent first part of my travels just working and working, and like those things won't go away unless I change. And so I'm working on that still. We might as well make the changes that we want to make now, and then that'll just continue to compound effect with other good emotions, good experiences when we travel, when we do that thing that we have the urge to do.
But I do think that putting ourselves into new environments, gaining new insights as we leave our busy lives and habits, and as we meet new people with new perspectives and views on life, that can help us.
Before going to Mexico, I was like, no, you don't make enough money to travel. And when I arrived in Mexico, the first 2 weeks, I make more money than the last few months. And I don't know why the energy, the perfect moment doesn't exist. So you have to go now, and you will see what's happened.
Yes!
The best advice I can give people who want to start a business, it's travel. Very travel, because start with new environment, new personality. You can set your qualities. You can be the person you want to be.
The cool thing about when you get your own place with a kitchen is that you can go to grocery stores and find your own groceries, and you don't have to constantly like eat out. Fun fact, when I was in China, there was like this 7-Eleven, and I could find sushi in 7-Eleven for like, it was like $2 for a full plate of sushi. And that's like the things that you can get kind of when you go travel. Groceries are so cheap here. It's crazy. I'm trying to find ramen. Depending on how much you want to save, you may want to just like get yourself some pasta, some ramen. That's what I've been doing for a majority of the time that I've been traveling. It's just like going to a local grocery store and find some cheap stuff. Like this coffee is not even $1. Does that even make sense? Is that right?
My type of traveling has really never been fancy. I recently started working at a cafe, and so I order some of my meals there, but that's really not something I've ever done or really had the need to do. Even though I do that, I still have my oatmeals every single day. For me, it's not the fancy stuff that makes me happy. It's my mental.
I didn't have a car, nor could I really drive for the first 5 years when I was traveling, but currently I have a car in LA.
I've been renting out my car in LA, which is a great money-making method as well. On Turo, you can rent it out for like $60 a day. You would use that to rent a scooter, but would I recommend that? No way. Walking, my friend, that's the way to go. When I travel, I always get so many steps because I like love walking. You just can see the place that you're at so much better when you walk. That's a nice scooter though. I feel like it would be pretty cool driving around that. Maybe I'd take it back. Maybe if you find a scooter like that, I'd be okay with you getting the scooter then instead of walking, just sometimes.
And I don't want to give off the wrong impression because I definitely have been crazy worried about money during this journey, but I've just first of all felt like there was something in me that has told me like I had to do it, and I think listening to that gut intuition feeling always leads to something good. And secondly,
Today I'm definitely in a different financial situation than I have been the majority of the time that I've been traveling, and I think that the real reason is that when you travel, your mind gets widened to new perspectives and ways of living and ways of making money, and just what really brings you joy. I feel like you also get to know yourself better, but from meeting so many different people, I've gotten to know different ways that I could make a living, and it didn't have to be the specific way that I grew up knowing the only way to make money.
I know that we're all different, but I feel like the times in my life where I've felt the most joyful and happy, it's never been about like doing something really expensive. It's always just been about the experience of it and the relationship I have with others, the relationship I have with myself, how I challenge myself in order for me to grow. And it's been those sorts of things. It's not been about me going to a fancy restaurant or like staying at some crazy fancy expensive hotel. It's been about like the experience.
I think that if we have an urge to do something, we can put a lid on it, we can try to hide it, we can try to cover it up with all of these crazy excuses as to why we don't need to do it. But I don't think it's ever gonna truly leave our body, our mind, our dreams and desires. So I think we owe it to ourselves, if we have this urge to go travel, to do it. Okay, cool.